Yo, here we go. So check this out. I'm in a trade right now. I'm going to let this thing play out. But I wanted to show you real quick. I just got back off of some deliveries and some personal business stuff, and I got back to the desk and flawless execution of what we talked about on this morning's trade. So I'm lucky that I got in here just in time. You can see down here I have two contracts. This is on the YM. NQ is probably doing the same thing on the bounce. Yeah, NQ and ES are probably bouncing on this as well, but right now I'm just focused on the YM. The Dow company is bouncing up here off of this right here. This trend line we drew this morning because we broke that 600 moving average. So this is a 1 hour chart if you were not paying attention this morning. This is a 1 hour chart. And on this 1 hour chart, over the last month, we've kind of seen this continuation of this trend. So we broke this, consolidated a bit, and now we knew that it was going to come back and touch this 600 moving average. We overshot what we thought was our first Mark 1, and it kept consolidating. You can see it just gets tighter and tighter here until the last couple days just starts to kind of deteriorate and break down. Now we're below the 600. Everything's starting to diverge. So we've got all of our moving averages that are diverging out. Right here, all of our dynamic ranges are really starting to diverge out. And we're coming back down into this zone where we have one touch yesterday, a touch again this morning, now a third touch off of this trend line. We are looking for just a really good bounce back up here into this zone, this range, before a tomorrow or end of day free fall. But right now, we're taking a buy position. We're long, just trying to catch some of this move up. And I'll break it down here on the 5 minute and the 1 minute where we're at and why. This could right now free fall back down. In fact, I'm going to watch this closely because if this can't push back here above 375 and we kind of get trapped in this sort of consolidation and momentum and volume runs out, then I think that we'll see this kind of consolidate until power hour, 3 p.m. or another catalyst, and then we're probably going to see a flush for the end of the day. My hope here is that we caught this low enough right off the bounce. We still have about 20 points of movement to the downside, and we got our stop set down here at 300. So that'll put us at about almost $500 in the hole if this thing free falls. If it starts to show weakness, I'm going to get out. But as it stands right now, what I want to see happen is this continue to push up through this dynamic range on the 1 minute chart, and then a retest of these dynamic moving averages that are coming back down. So I want the spaghetti models are going to want to catch up to this price action. There's the push through. And so what I want to see is this continue up, push through, touch these moving averages, and then possibly even come up here and retest this 600 moving average with a consolidation for the end of day. However, this might be a zone where we could just get some random momentum that just starts ripping and squeezing this. Everybody's been selling off or shorting all day long. We're coming up here into the closing parts of the market. This could very much just be a little squeezy situation that might happen where we can take advantage of it. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut this anytime it gets close or low and we're $60 to $100 in the hole. I'm gonna cut bait and look to reposition into another long until it finally makes its push. So what could happen is I can continue to get here and just take those little $50, $20 losses as it kind of bounces below here and consolidates and doesn't push through. If that's the case, we'll recoup it if it starts to free fall. So on either side, we are in a good position here. This is a tradable position. If we go back to the 1 hour, I'll show you why. On the 1 hour chart, we've just touched this trend line. So now we're hovering, and we're at a point now where this is going to have to make a decision going into end of day. Either it's going to sit here and try and consolidate its way back up here to the 1 hour or the 600 moving average, which is way up here on the 1 hour, or you just kind of get trapped in consolidation between these ranges. But we're at the lower end of the range. We've just touched that lower trend line, and now we're just watching to make sure we can get some more upward momentum onto this move back up. On the 1 minute, let's go back here. On the 1 minute, still got some bullish momentum. So we got a couple of closes on the 1 minute. We've now got a new 5 minute candle here that's opening up and continuing the push. My first exit is going to be right here around 400. And after the 400 range, I'm going to TP. Yeah, man. Yep, exactly. I got you. The trading wave by wave. I'm with you on that way. So you're saying 281. Nice. That was your entry? Wave by wave, that's your, that's 281 was your entry, or that's your take profit? So yeah, this is going to consolidate here, and I think we're going to push. But this is pretty good. I think we've got at least some room here to the 400s. You're short, so 281 on my chart here is going to be here a little bit lower than what we just touched. Gotcha. 281 is your take profit. So you're short on this. You're thinking it's going to push back down to 281 before you catch a long. There's the push. So we're going to continue this. I'm looking right here. So I'm probably going to peel a contract off at actually, I might just take this all off the table here in just a second. This is one of those dynamic resistance tops for me that usually you see a hard bounce, and which creates a kind of a fake pump. But on this 1 minute chart, you're seeing this curl up. All these are trying to converge now. So we've gotten out of a divergence pattern. We're moving back up, and I'm now at a point where this is my entry here at 353. So what I can do is move my stop all the way up above that. But I have a feeling that it's kind of one of those like self-fulfilling prophecies. Me and stop losses don't get along. I'd rather just cut bait if I feel like it's getting too weak. Normally, so what would happen is normally right now I'm going to exit this. This moving average right here is going to be one of my exit points. So a manual hard out. Normally, what happens when I try and deal with gotcha on trade of 8. Cool, man. Yeah, we're riding this train. I think we got the same idea. I'm gonna watch for this right here, right at the 363. That's a 10-point profit if I get stopped out. So that's a manual mental stop for me. Usually, what happens and why I don't normally take my stop loss all the way up above to a break even is because a lot of the times, like mentally, instead of just taking my profits where I feel like my gut is saying take the profits, I'll actually just let it go all the way down and hit that stop loss. It's almost like what you think about, you're bringing about self-fulfilling prophecies. It's one of those things where, like, why would I let it go all the way down there when I know I had a mental trailing stop where I want to exit this trade? So right now, as long as this 1 minute keeps curling up with it, this is going to be, I'm just going to follow this as a stop loss. So what I want to see happen is a buy indicator form. So we're in early on this trade. What I want to see happen is a buy indicator form somewhere right here in the next 2 to 3 minutes. But this kind of, we're getting pinned between these two dynamic lines, which could cause some consolidation and a hard flush, which is why I have that stop loss all the way down, because right now we're trading on some moderate volume, but even it goes down. Yeah. So I'm with you on that too. I mean, so I think we're at, like I said, on the 1 hour wave on the 1 hour. So I'm kind of with you on that. Right down here, we've got a pretty hard wall that this thing has been trying to break, but can't get past. So I'm with you on that. I think that wall right there is what's keeping us alive here. Even if it flushes down here, we've got some top side all the way back up to the 600 moving average. So we've got all the way up to like 37 800s on YM. That's where That's where I think we have some room to go. That's why I think this is a great long opportunity. However, for me, I get worried because, with what's gone on for the rest of the day, all it takes is some heavy volume right here to come in and just push the market back down below these dynamic lines. And if we get too much volume in that bearish direction, you could see just people selling off, and you get capitulation, and then you get kind of a sell-off rally into the end of the day, which hurts, but we can take advantage of that. Right now, I'm just looking for confirmation of this trade. I want to hold this longer, but this is right now we're teetering really close as these kind of converge. Normally, what I want to see is at least it kind of push up here and give me some room. So now we're kind of coming below. I don't like that. And I'm going to be out here if it keeps coming down. I'm going to be out here and look to reposition myself at a lower entry, or until I get a really good solid confirmation. And I'm out. So I'll take $130 on that if it closes me. What happened there? That was awful, Phil. Holy cow. That was an awful fill. Jeez. That was the most laggy sell I ever had in my whole life. So anyway, we got 10 points on that. I'm happy with it. $100. We can move on to the next trade. So I'm gonna let this thing play out for a little bit. That puts us positive for the day. I took a couple trades this morning and it was not fun. Kind of tore apart. It was $200 up. And then I took a couple trades that I thought, kind of like this, where I thought we were going to make a move and actually ended up reversing. So I'm going to let this play out, see what happens, see if these cross and give me a buy indicator. The other way to look at this is you start looking at the 5-minute here. So on the 5-minute chart, you can see that it really wants to come up here and bounce. So we still have some consolidation why these things pull down on the 5-minute chart. What's NQ doing? So it's doing the same thing. You can see on 5-minute chart on NQ, you've got this touch right here of this resistance, this dynamic resistance, and that's a first resistance too. So that's not even that's a pretty hard tell. This is going to want to keep coming down. I need for NQ and ES to push through this. Where's ES? Same thing with ES. ES is doing the same thing. It's got a little tap of this thing coming back down, which is kind of in line with this sort of waterfall cascade situation. Meanwhile, I'm just going to let this play out. I'm happy with the $100 on that. That was a good little small risk, high reward trade. We got a good entry down here. And if that would have pushed and that bullish momentum came in, we would have rode that thing hard. But this is too weak for me to stay in it. My gut doesn't feel good about it, so I normally just get out whenever I feel that way. Are you still holding this thing, Wave? You're still in? You've got sweet. What do we got for news? Do we have any more news coming up today? We've got 17th. So we had all this crap. We have Fed speakers still today, don't we? So we got Fed Williams at 3, crude at 4:30, and then after hours is not much going on. We got Australian employment change and that kind of stuff. So nothing really. And then tomorrow, building permits. So housing starts. That's going to be interesting. Housing starts. I'm going to be interested to see that because, well, our whole goal here is to go from prop firm trading, build enough capital, and then move on to buying a house with the money that we're making. So housing starts to be good. What I want to see is these start to slow down. I need to see this slow down, and we want more demand on the market or more supply on the market. That way, prices start free falling. Then come July, we'll be in a good position to buy someone that's trying to get out. So if we get rates coming down, plus we get more supply start cranking up, which is very likely, then that's going to put us in a great position to get a fantastic deal on a house here in the next 6 months. So right now the focus is still on just trying to build this account up. Build the account. It's still kind of just teetering, huh? There's that push back up wave. You're going to get what you asked for if you're still holding, man. If you're still holding this thing, I think that you're going to get what you asked for. It's going to keep pushing, huh? Yeah, I bailed. I bailed. I wanted to have a positive day. Right now, we're on the day, we're up. So we're total 515. Change our total. We were 515 on the day. We're 505 is our total balance in the TOPSTEP account as of right now. 505 great, fantastic dollars. I know that's doesn't seem like a lot, but hey, 505 is a good. It's a good way up. It keeps us in the positive. And I've only been trading 1 or 2 contracts. I trade 1 or 2 contracts for a very specific reason. Usually, I'm trading 4. So 4 contracts is what I want to be trading. But if in the TOPSTEP accounts, in the TOPSTEP combine, you can trade up to 15 contracts. I think 14. I think 15 contracts on a $150,000 account. And then as that goes, as you transition into an XFA account, here comes a little bit more of a breakdown. Watching this here on the 1 minute. So you got this consolidation on 5 minute, 1 minute is looking a little weak. We might get the turn and a push back down. Either way, I don't like it. It's looking like it's going to consolidate for a bit. So when you pass your combine, you go into an XFA. When you get to the XFA account, the express funded account, you're still trading simulated money. But now you can't just trade 14 contracts. So as soon as you get a combine account, you can trade up to 15 contracts, go gangbusters. But then when you get your XFA account, you're into a scaling plan. You cannot trade more than 3 contracts until I think you pass $1,200 in the account. So you got to grow your account to $1,200 before you can even trade 3-4 contracts, right? And then you get to $1,500. I think that you can trade 5 contracts and et cetera, and it scales up until you can finally trade the full 14 again. I think after you pass $5,000 in the account, and you can start taking withdrawals after 5 days. So it's important. All right, Wave, I'm with you, man. I got you. I'm. If we push up to 600, we're gonna put something in the chat and give you a shout out because you got more cojones than I do holding that thing all the way up here. I still feel like this thing is weak and it wants to just break loose and open a trap door on us. In fact, right here is where I would usually take a short position, but we just had that long, and I'm a little worried about it. So, man, I'm may the force be with you. I'll watch it through close with you. So anyways, when you get into your Express Fund account, you've got the 2 contract limit until you hit $1,200, and you got to kind of follow that plan. Plus, you have to have 5 consecutive days of $200 profit. So, not consecutive, 5 days of $200 in profit before you can withdraw, and that resets every time you withdraw. So, if you go and you have $5,000 in your account, you do a withdrawal. Then you got to have 5 more days of $200 profit before you can make another withdrawal. So those first 5 days, you're trying to make $200 on a day with only using 3 contracts. So it can get a little risky if you're not planning out your trades right and you're just scalping. Those 2 contracts, if you're used to trading with 14 contracts at a time, or going all in like Patrick Weiland, you get to an XFA account and you can't trade that, your strategy, your mindset changes a lot. So usually I'm trying to, when I'm doing a TOPSTEP combine, I'm trying to stay with that until I get past the XFA. Then I'll move on to the taking a little bit more size. Here we are. What time is it 215? 215. Nothing really going on. It looks like we're stuck in this little consolidation, so it's gonna be boring watching this, man. Now I kind of wish I was in the trade just so I wasn't so bored. Now I'm gonna have to sit here and watch Wave make all the money if this thing rips, because I'm not taking a long right here. That'd be out of my mind. If it comes back down here, forms a little double bottom-ish or a little W kind of action, then I might think about taking a long back in there with you, Wave. But right now, I could take the long right here to I'd have like $200 or $300 in drawdown and a possible $1,000 stop out. Anybody drink Red Bull? I used to be a Monster guy. I used to drink Monster all the time. And then if you follow Formula One, you may disagree heavily with what I'm about to say, but I am a Red Bull Racing fanboy. And particularly, I love the way that Max Verstappen drives. I like that he's aggressive. I like that he's a little reckless and he just goes for it. My daughter is a fan of Max and Hamilton. She actually likes Logan Sargent too, but I will tell you that people who think that, there we go, Wave, there's your push. There's your push. Let's go. A lot of people think that like race car ads and all that stuff are just kind of like lost leaders or write-offs or whatever. And I can tell you that because of Red Bull Racing and Max Verstappen, I tried a Red Bull about 6 months ago and got away from, instead of buying a Monster, I bought a Red Bull. And honestly, the flavor I just like it better. It's more consistent. I'll have all the different crazy flavors, and now I drink Red Bull when I need a little energy boost. The low sugar Red Bull. All right, Wave. I see it, man. I see your vision, and I might actually jump in on this trade with you, bro. I might actually jump in on this trade with you. It's very likely. I see what you see. It's starting to form. The pattern is there. The stars are aligning for a great long position, but I am still traumatized and have PTSD from taking a trade right here like this and then boom, just getting flushed out with a ton of volume coming in here at 2:30 or 3 o'clock. Let's see. What's going on ES? ES has got the same thing going on, so they're a little tighter on ES. Yeah, it's going to pick up here. Volume's going to pick up here. I agree, man. We got about, 30 more minutes, 45 more minutes to power hour, and then we're going to see everybody get off the fence and pick a decision for the end of the day. So ES is moving up. Let's actually there you go. YM pushing, there we go. All right. I think I'm going to jump in along here. I'm only going to do one contract though because I'm scared. But I think I see what you see, Wave, and I'm going to go ahead and take that long with you. So I'm long here at 384. And I'm going to have a pretty tight mental stop loss again. So if it comes down here and creates a new break of structure and we go past here, I'm going to bail on it with a loss. So, but I do see what Wave sees. I think that these are starting to catch up and we might get on the 5-minute chart a little bit more of a breakout. So let's see what happens. I'll move this in here. Trying to let this continue. I had that long down here, and I got out with the profit bringing us back to break even on the day, basically. So we might end up, if I get stopped out on this one, we're gonna have a red day because I'm not gonna keep trading. Not going to keep trading if I get stopped out on this one, but I think that what we're going to see is the continuation. What I want is this cross to happen. We're about to get a buy indicator on the 1 minute. So these two dynamic ranges are about to cross over, and we're going to get that buy indicator, which would be solid confirmation that this might just kind of slow crawl for the next 30 minutes on its way up. And actually, we got now on the 1 minute, we actually have a nice little trend line that's starting to form. So I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that as that kind of crawls. You can see it's kind of creeping up this little trend line, this resistance. There's a lot of demand that's kind of following this on its way up. So if this stays above here, we're good. Otherwise, I might wimp out again. The name of the game in this one for me, yeah. So I disagree with you on that one, Wave Man. I feel like I do agree there's not much more downside for the end of the day, but what was it, like 6 months ago, 4 months ago? Do you remember when it was just like, whoa, big move, we consolidated, chilled, and then end of day just kept free falling? And there's a couple of those times when I got caught with my pants down thinking the same thing, and that's where I get a little bit concerned about it. So now I'm really cautious where I'll take it thinking what we're thinking, which is we still need to come up here and touch this trend line, which is probably going to be my exit on this trade. We still need to come up and touch this trend line. However, that doesn't mean that, any one of the talking heads on any channel can get up there and just say something stupid in an election year and cause chaos. But either way, I think this is a pretty solid trade. So we're going to keep riding this thing out. And there's your push. So we're about to make a little new break of structure. Push up here past. Come on. Cycles, yeah. Wave you trade normally. You normally just trade your support resistance, supply demand levels. You do price level trading. What do you do? Are you using SMAs, Bollinger Bands? What are you doing to keep you in this trade? What do you see that I'm so concerned about here? I trade strictly price action via dynamic support and resistance and price levels. That's how I'm basically judging this. And you can see if I go over to the 1 hour chart, you can see where I'm basing this trade off of. So you've got this kind of lower range, and I've got this trend line here. This is in correlation, has confluence across the charts here at this historical support. And you've got another historical support with confluence of this dynamic range. And so what I'm looking for is you got a bounce, and then what I'm looking for is another kind of bounce before a bigger move happens. So I'm looking for consolidation up to 454, and then kind of making another move tomorrow and seeing what happens with this thing tomorrow. But for right now, that's kind of where I'm basing this long. That previous trade I just took like 10 minutes ago, that's where that was coming off of. And so now in this trade, I'm looking for continuation. Gotcha. What are you using to determine liquidity? What tool are you using to see the liquidity in the market? Let's go back here. All right, we got $65 in profit on one contract. Got a little bit of a resistance here. I need for it to continue pushing through. Hit this 430. If not, come all the way up and look for 500s on the 5 minute chart. So you got this nice downward draw most of the day. Now we're starting to get a little bit of our reversal for the going into end of day. This right here for me is where it gets dangerous. So you could trade this, and then we'll hit one of these resistance levels and then start to flush back off of it. Like right now, I've got confluence here at 400. It's also looking at this same hard resistance. So if I check on ES is pushing through that. So that gives me a little bit more confirmation to hold this trade even longer than what we have right now. I got you, man. I do not have that confidence. I cannot see liquidity like that. I've tried like volume profiles and bookmap and all the different ways to see it, and my brain does not follow liquidity. I can see volume, and I just do it based off of, where is the volume intraday, and where is liquidity happening via volume. But when it comes to seeing it in the price action, I can't see it in how most people see where the liquidity is. And I'm not experienced enough as a trader to know all of the ins and outs of why market makers move something and how they position themselves outside of your standard like consolidation, manipulation, distribution models. So like an Elliott wave sort of setup. That's normally what I'm in. So we're still holding this trade. This is a little bit longer than I feel comfortable. Right now is when I start to feel a little bit stressed out about a trade. I want to see more action happen into the trade, and to get more confirmation to keep me in something longer. About 15 minutes into a trade is when I start to feel a little bit like, this isn't kind of moving the direction that I wanted to see it move. But yeah, we're still here. We could see it. It's probably just going to move a little bit laterally here until we retest this trend line and then move back up, which would be kind of in line over here with this support here. A little bit of a pullback. I want to end the day positive too, which is the problem. I had a great trade this morning, like a couple fantastic trades, and I should have just chilled and been happy with the $250 that I had. But instead I took a couple of crappy trades and ended up negative on the day. Now I'm back positive, and I'd like to keep it there. I like ending the day, even if it's $30. I like ending the day with cash in the account and not giving anything back, which is why I don't have the conviction in this trade right now. I don't have the buffer right now to kind of just let it keep going. I need to build up a little bit more of a buffer coming too close to the end of the day. And I'm already like five trades into the day, and I getting into that over trading category. All right, here's that retest of the trend line and our dynamic ranges. We're pushing lower. I'm going to probably get out here, take a loss if it doesn't reverse off of this trend line. Waiting for it. There's the reversal, the continuation. Need the continuation. Wave, are you trading TOPSTEP? Are you trading a prop firm? Apex or it's another big one out there. My funded futures. Are you doing prop firm stuff, or are you trading in a live account? All right, it's holding this line. About a minute left before 2:30. We'll probably see some more volume coming at 2:30, and that'll give me a better idea if this is going to continue to push up. It's looking good, though. It's been a wild day, though. I think all this is due to that 10-year auction. What was this at? 130. 130, and then you get a bigger push. Where were we at 130? 130, we were at 130, 20-year bond auction, 17-year, so 20-year bond auction happened at 130. 130. So that was maybe that. No, that doesn't make any sense though. I think this is just more of a sell-off than what people were expecting. That's what happened. More of a sell-off than what people were expecting. Cool. You like Apex? I haven't traded an Apex account yet. I know they've got like some 80% deals, 80% off or something like that. I know Patrick Weiland and I think Trades by Matt both are pushing Apex pretty hard right now. So they must have something good going on if they've got both of those guys to move over and be in their accounts. I tried to do an Apex at one point in time. I was going to, and that was the same point in time when TOPSTEP did change to like one step kind of deal, and they dropped their rates to 149 for a $150,000 account. So I ended up just buying a bunch of those things and staying with TOPSTEP. And I like TOPSTEP. I like the guys that are over there. I trust them. They haven't given me a reason yet to not trust them. They've messed up pretty good. Yeah, the trailing drawdown is awful. I agree with you on that. But Apex doesn't have the trailing drawdown. It's static. But when it comes to TOPSTEP, I trust the guys there. I trust that they always follow through. So they might be slow, they might get backlogged, they might have an issue with what's going on, or they might have some behind the scenes trouble that's going on. But in the end, I've always seen them follow through and have integrity even through some of the problems and the issues. And so I, for that reason, and just for trading futures and what I do, having that kind of consistency and seeing them and knowing their backgrounds, watching them on TOPSTEP TV now, you can see the level of care that they take. And obviously they're in it to make money just like everybody else, but they are they're pretty transparent as far as who they are. They're not trying to pretend to be something else. They are a for-profit prop firm. So, and they have a way for other people to make money with them along the way, but ultimately they're not trying to push anything that is, in my opinion, sketchy. Although Trade-Evate was giving them a run for their money when they were dealing with Trade-Evate. So we're still on this thing. So we're up $70. I only have one contract, so we'd be up 140 if I took the full two, but I'm still not 100% confident in where we are. If we see, I need for this to push back and make a new little high here, and then we're going to have a level at 410 that we're going to need to push past, a level at 413 that we're going to push. Both of these levels are going to look like they're going to be pretty tough to break through. 410 is going to be, yeah. So you've got this nice little resistance level here at 410 on the 5-minute chart over here. So if we push past 410, then I think Wave nailed this trade, man. I think if we keep pushing past that mark, I think Wave, I think you nailed it. That's cool, man. I wish I was at the level to be a trading coach. It has taken me 5 years to come up with this strategy that I have. I kind of keep it pretty close to the vest as far as how I have it set up. It's working for me, but it still has its little flaws. So for me, it's still kind of it's an emotional. I trade based on what it makes, how it responds and reacts to me. So trying to teach someone this strategy outside of the obvious support and resistance lines that we've got isn't something I'm confident doing yet. But what I am confident about is real estate. So I love real estate. I could teach real estate all day long. But there are way too many people out there trying to teach in that market, and I don't need to try and compete with all of them. Here's another little retest on the trend line. So what I need for a little bit more security here. So on the 1 minute chart, it's starting to kind of get a little weak again. what I want to see here is now you've got a clear cross with a clear buy indicator. So now we've got some pretty solid confirmation on this. So now what I need to happen is to see a continuation. Otherwise, what will happen is we'll start getting a couple buy sell indicators that are going to continue to consolidate under this 600 moving average on the 1 minute chart, or underneath VWAP really on the 1 minute. So as long as we continue to keep making these little highs, we're good to go. But as soon as we get a break of the structure or a lower low, that's when, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to consolidate. But I think Wave, I think I'm with you on this one, man. I like that we're riding this thing out together. It's nice to have someone to trade alongside with. This is going to pan out to be a pretty good trade. So at this point in time, we're in profit. Even if we kind of cut bait below this trailing resistance, this dynamic resistance right here, we'll still not lose money on this trade. So at this point in time, we are green to go. And I'm just going to let my gut dictate when to get out of this. And it's probably going to be somewhere here around 428 or VWAP. What's ES? Is ES still ripping? Yep. Yeah. So ES, let's take a look at this, because actually ES is about to do some. ES is about to hit this 600 moving average, and we'll see how it reacts. Oh, that's NQ. Where's ES? Oh, that is ES. That's NQ. What is going on up here in these charts? Yeah. All right, there's the break. I'm out. I'm going to call this one at 40 bucks. Sorry, man. Wave, I'm still with you. Yeah, that sucks. I know FX, I hear you on that, man. There's a lot of that weird stuff going on with a couple of the accounts, the prop firms, where they're locking people out. I know Turkey had a big issue with that as well. And I'm not familiar enough with how they think people are cheating the system. I know that particularly with the Turkey situation, I think it was My Funded Futures. I think they were the ones that banned Turkey and some of the other countries. And Apex probably did the same thing with what you're talking about. Because people are basically, what I believe is happening is that they have multiple accounts across multiple different prop firms, and they're basically hedging against their own trades to ensure something goes up, knowing that the total risk loss is $100 or $50 on your account if you're wrong, but if you're right, the upside is massive. So you're basically gaming the prop firm system to get ahead, which skews all the results. I think that's what was going on with MyFF in Turkey. It's probably way more complicated than that, but that's kind of my version of what I thought was happening. Gotcha. So Wave, I used to actually, that was how I started with this strategy, and maybe I need to revisit that on some back test is to actually just do some more short-term scalping, because I was actually finding a lot of huge success taking 4 to 6 contracts on a short-term 1 minute chart and just taking my profits and bailing. So I agree with you. I think the short-term 1 minute it's my sweet spot. It's where I find that I'm more in sync and rhythm with the market. I use the 5 minute to kind of just dictate or give me some idea of entry exit, where my levels are set, and then my 1 minute chart is my actual clear point of entry, clear point of exit. It's the momentum. It's what I think is the emotion of the market in the moment. And so I'd rather just trade the emotion of other traders based on, like you're talking about, the MACD or RSI, just to kind of see what's going on. Yeah. Yeah, I'm out, man. So This right here is where I'm out, and only reason I'm out here is because we've now kind of broken below this trend line, and I've got weakness built into these support levels. So see, this is kind of curling over here. You can kind of see the weakness on the momentum curve kind of falling out, which tells me we're probably going to enter into some kind of long, boring consolidation. And in those situations, I feel like I need to get out and look for another entry. So, because for instance, in this point of view, I'm happy on one contract to take the $40 and then reposition myself. And then the more I can feel confident in that, I'll reposition myself, just taking those small little wins or small little losses, knowing that we're getting close to an explosion or a breakout. So I'm just going to let this continue to consolidate. Right now it's consolidating in an ascending manner, so we got a little uptrend. Definitely break of structure here. And now if it falls below this line, then we're probably going to look for a short position to end of day. About 20 more minutes till the end of day. From India. Nice, dude. Where? What part? My wife has visited India many times, and she loves it. She keeps trying to convince me to come out there and hang out. Right now, I'm out. So right now, I've had two small little trades here at the end of day. You can see them over here on the 1 minute chart. A couple little 10-point moves. Been pretty happy with that. So this first one was on 2 contracts, and then the second one was a single contract. I'm just trying to build some confidence back in because I was negative. Session P&L today is $77. So I was up early this morning. So where are we at? Let's update our running total was 505. Now we're back up to 546. We'll enter that in here. So our account balance on TOPSTEP is 546. Just taking some small wins, trying not to end the day negative. So if we end with a profit, I'm happy. I wish it was more. Maybe if I start seeing some acceleration, I'll take it. But wave coming through, calling that thing, dude. Look at this thing trying to push back up. It's gonna make the new high just a little bit late in the game, and I bailed right here. This red arrow. God, wait, hang on a second. There's a freaking practice account. Guys, why did you not say something? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I had that set on the practice account that whole time. Both of those trades were on the stupid practice account. Cannot believe that crap. All right, so now we're going to have to trade because we're $70 in the hole in the real account. Do not know how that got switched around. That's going to drive me crazy. That is going to drive me crazy. Oh. All right, so anyway, all of that and this whole time right here in the middle, it was on the practice account. And that was 100% my fault. I got back from doing some deliveries and some stuff out and about, came back to the station and forgot to change it to the real account, which is fine. We got to make $70 and some $70 and making some Red Bull magic happen here. It's happening, Wave. There it is. You called this one. You called this one, and I was riding it out with you on a practice account. So great. You're going to get that touch, man. I would take 15 contracts right now and get out at 428. But that would break my rules on this TOPSTEP account, and I do not want to break my personal rules right now. Should we do it on the practice account? Should we take the buy 14 on the practice. I'm not going to take it on the real account because that would break my rules that I set up for ourselves here. I'm going to take it. Practice count just took 14 contracts. 14 contracts, and I'm going to take it and ride it to 428, and then I'm going to bail. I'm doing it on the practice account right now with 14 contracts just because that's what I would do in my live account. It's just take a huge position on what I know is going to happen, and then exit, just taking the profit. But I'm not going to take it on the TOPSTEP account because I have a 2 contract rule until we pass. So I'm not going to take more than 2 contracts on a live account, and between that here is less than 10 points. So it's not worth the risk for me. There's not enough risk to reward ratio on this trade for a small size, really. I jinxed it. Exactly. I feel you, FX. That's what I feel. I feel like, look, I don't have to make it up. There's always tomorrow. $70 loss in the day is a $70 loss in the day, and I can get over that. And just like in real estate, right? There is always another deal. There's always another deal. There's always another day. There's no sense in trying to take something that's a crap deal or crap setup just because you feel like you need to continue the day on. $14 contracts. Here we go. I was going to push back up. Let's go. Hit that trend. I need to cash this thing out. Got about 10 more minutes till power hour. That's going to be interesting. Yo, what? What's ES doing? ES pushed through the 600. There it is. That ES pushed through the 600. It's going to continue. I need to get these things in line with one another. So this one is going to be on yellow. Yellow. This one is on yellow. So that was NASDAQ. So ES is still bouncing off of VWAP here. It's trying to touch like the YM. It was NASDAQ. NASDAQ is the one that's pushing up through. Here we go. So NASDAQ is actually pushing up through 600 and continuing on. So hopefully YM follows along, huh? I cannot believe, man, like total idiot mistake trading the practice account there. Gosh, it's frustrating. It's a good thing it was just some like single little base hits and not an actual push. Because I believe in you, Wave, but for me, I still feel like this is the point in time when you end up with a flush and it just continues all day for the rest of the day. That's what I'm worried about here. It's just too slow moving. There's not enough momentum, acceleration behind this mass, and it's a really weak mass, right? So it's this end of day kind of low volume trading right now until power hour, and right now it's just kind of like this blah robo algo trading on its way up to VWAP. I feel like once you start getting mass involved here, and any kind of acceleration to the downside, you're going to see like all of that push with with a lot of force to the downside. So I think this needs to get up here above VWAP before power hour, or we're going to see a reversal. Dun, 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 dun. There's a little bit more of a move right here. I mean, look at that 5 minute just slow melt up. You got one leg, two legs, and then this melt up. And here we are at 410, trying to find our way. Trying to find our way back home. I'm gonna look to take a short probably. So if we get here and we get down here below, if we stay below 400 for any amount of time and it still consolidates here, I'm gonna start looking for an end of day short. I feel like if we were gonna get past VWAP, it was going to push right now. Otherwise, it's going to be one of those late breaks, which is why I'm not trying to get into it right now with the real account. I believe, Wave. I believe in you. I believe in you. I'm just too scared of it. I've seen this thing flush like crazy, and we're getting too close to basically a convergence consolidation area. So all of these dynamic moving averages, my spaghetti models, they're all getting real tight again. And so I'm gonna wait until I start seeing a little bit more divergence before I jump into a trade. And maybe I missed some of this move here, but if we get back above VWAP and power hour pushes up, we'll see a divergence in this range, and then I can just catch some of the meat without the hamburger bun up here in this area, and I'll be fine with that. But my fear is that I'll go long expecting the crossover of VWAP, and the momentum of the day is telling us that it wants to continue down. Exactly. You got to have conviction. Got to have the conviction in the trade. That's why I believe in you, Wave. That's why. That's why I've got the Ted Lasso believe sign. So let's go. So this needs to bounce here. If we get down here and we stay below this 400 on YM, I think that might be it for the rest of the day. I'm going to add yes, no. We're getting some weakness here on NQ. So on NQ, this is what's going to kind of tell me what's going on for the rest of the day. So you got NQ that had this nice push, and they kind of have been leading the way for YM in the last few days, where they'll make the move and then YM will kind of lag behind and make the move alongside it. And right now you've got a little bit of weakness building up and pressure. So a lot of selling pressure right here. Is at the 850 on the NASDAQ. 843. Nothing here to stop it on the 5 minute. Five more minutes. Power hours in 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes, and this is setting up for a short for me. I might have to go against you, Wave. This needs to consolidate. So we've got this resistance here. So you got 427, pretty hard level that it needs to get past. You've got 415. These two levels are pretty tight, and that's pretty in line with the 1 minute VWAP and the 1 minute 600. So it needs to touch that. Here we go. I'm going to take that practice account back up there. See what happens. Have a little friendly competition. So I'm gonna wait for this. It's getting really tight, so you can see just this is a lot of indecision for me. Right now on the 1 minute, this is a lot of indecision. And the 1 minute for me is the emotion of the market. So I use the 1 minute to basically dictate the emotion, the context, the behavior, the psychology of the people that are trading. And right now, it's, a lot of the steam is pulled out of here. You're losing that acceleration that we had, and it's just some indecision built in here. And I think it's just going to wait. I think we're not going to see any kind of really big explosive move here until it gets up here above the 600 or VWAP. I think it's going to continue to sit here and just figure out what it wants to do over the next 3 minutes into power hour. Coming in the U.S. market close, and then I'm going to figure this out here, though, in the next 3 minutes, which direction this thing wants to go in, and then we're going to look to take a trade. One hour chart did exactly what it needs to. So you got this would be a good place for a bottom right here, starting to kind of roll off. This would be a good place for the bottom to happen. You've got a couple of tests down here in the 30s, 350s range off of this support. And this is a pretty heavy support here at the 390. So you've got it just consolidating here. This would be a good place for this thing to roll back up. But it's patience. ES on the 1 hour heading down. So a 1 hour chart on the ES. ES is still well below this 600, and that's a lot steeper and a lot more. This is a lot steeper than the YM. And this tells a different picture. This is a pretty steep downward trend over the last 24 hours, 48 hours really. ES is telling us that NQ is stalling out. Looks like it's wanting to reverse. And we have our baby, the YM. Slow and steady on the Dow companies. I'm still with you on this account though, Wave. My live, I wanted everything in me wants to take a short on this trade, but I'm still with you on a long on the practice. I still think that we touch this 428. 428, 435. That's where I think we're going to touch that, and then everything's going to get crazy. FX, are you trading forex or are you trading futures? or both. I used to trade the US 30 CFD in Forex and dollar yen. That's what I used to trade Forex. And then I made the switch over to futures about 1 year ago, and have been liking the futures, the way it moves, the way it reacts. And for me, being in the U.S., it's a lot more legit to be able to run my bank accounts and stuff and trade futures. I always found myself with the Forex markets, being a U.S. citizen, they get pretty grumpy about that. So I felt like I was always trying to kind of find loopholes to make my Forex accounts work. I like the CFDs though. I like trading US 30 or WS 30. Either one of those, they move real quick, real fast. A lot of profit to be made in those Forex accounts. Here we go. 3 p.m. Where's the action going to take us? Here, it's do or die time, Wave. It's do or die time. Practice account did not do what I want. I'm going to bail on that. All right, so let's look to take an actual trade here on the live. I'm going to take my short. Looking for the short setup. This is pretty clean. There's nothing below here to kind of stop us. And I'm going to go ahead and just take a one contract short. I'm going to place a stop on this thing. I want to see it pull back just a hair more on the 1 minute. But it's not going to. It's going to flush. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this short. And I'm going to set my stop for end of day, actually. I'm going to set it above here. So I got a $220 risk on this thing. Let's see, above VWAP maybe. Yeah. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a $300 risk on this, and I'm gonna actually look for this thing to free fall down, down here and test the lows of the day. That's what I'm looking for. We're about to get a buy signal here on the 1 minute, or a sell signal here on the 1 minute. You got this pattern's kind of rolling over, and that's a pretty hard indicator here on this last candle. So I think we're going to pull back, maybe retest the lows of the day, and kind of see what happens going into the end of U.S. market. All right, I'm gonna pause this for a second. I'm actually gonna go to, let's scale in here. So I'm actually gonna go to the bathroom. My P&L is right here. You can see the trade. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty confident in this this move. So I'm gonna let this thing consolidate, and I'm gonna ride this thing down for quite a bit of time. So I set a pretty long stop. I'm not usually on a trade like this. I'm just gonna take a really tight stop. But because we've got this movement here, and we still have the opportunity for it to come up and touch this VWAP at the end of the day, I'm gonna put it just above VWAP for the stop, and actually let this thing flush out for the rest of the day, and see where we end up. If we get stopped out, we lose $250. But I think there's I still feel like there's a lot of downside here that we're about to take advantage of. So I'm gonna look to take advantage of that. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. All right. What has happened? Still teetering here. I got beef jerky. Wave, you're crazy, man. Wave, you're crazy. You're crazy. Are you gonna hold this overnight? Are you gonna get? Are you gonna be cash at the end of the day, Wave? Or do you? Can you carry overnight on Apex? On TOPSTEP, I gotta be cash by. I have to be cash by 4:20 Eastern. They want you to be in a cash position before close of market, but they'll basically hard stop you out at 4:20 Eastern time. On all the Doros have my live accounts I can roll over, so I can just take overnight margin, and pay a swap on it and be fine. So I would consider taking a long swing position on this overnight as it kind of pushes back up. But as far as short term, I've got to be out cash position here in the next 40 minutes. So I got 40 minutes to make a move, take my trade, and then exit. And right now, here on the spaghetti models on the 5-minute, you're starting to get weakness, and it's going to start rolling back down and creating some divergence. So these are going to splay back down and head back into the downward direction. And you got a nice rollover here on the 1-minute. If this closes here in 5 seconds, we're going to see a sell indicator. If this closes here in the next 2 minutes, close, still no sell indicator. So when these two cross over each other, that's when you're going to get a sell indicator. The spaghetti model trading method for all those who care. My personal blend of self-coded trading models. Sweet. Okay, so you guys can trade. So Apex can trade till 5. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes way more sense. Now I understand why you're in the trade you're in. I don't know why TOPSTEP doesn't let us go till... That's my one beef with TOPSTEP. Is one, they don't do a good job of showing your previous trade history well. You get like some graphs and charts, but they don't do a good job of actually rolling out it like FTMO. And then two, they make you be in a cash position by market close, but you still have tons of action and sometimes a lot of volume on earnings that happens after the bell. And so for me, being a cash position by 4:59 Eastern makes way more sense because there is a lot more of a trade that can flush out end of day when you're waiting for an after hours earnings call. Or a Fed speaker, like today, you get a Fed speaker after hours, that can move the markets, and that could be what everybody's waiting for, is to hear what's going to be said. So I'm with you on that. On my personal, I take usually long, like I'll go 2 days sometimes on a futures contract trade in my personal accounts. My trading timeline and methodology for when I'm taking trades, there's the sell signal on the 1-minute. So there's the sell signal on the 1-minute, and we're in here at 386. So we're going to let this thing play out. Now that we got that sell signal, we're going to see if this consolidates or if this gives us the flush that we want. But yeah, on my personal account, I trade that through Motive Wave. I'm with Phillips Capital through EdgeClear, and I will take a long or short position based off of the hour chart a lot of times. So I'll trade knowing that that contract is going to roll over 2 or 3 days, and I'll take the sometimes $70 overnight margin or swap fee that I'll need to take in order to roll that over, because I know the move is happening. I'm confident in the move is happening, and it's just taking a little bit longer to play out. It's just mostly these prop firms is where I do a lot more of this scalping, day trading, like 10, 15, 20-minute trades. It's very rarely that I'll hold something past 30 minutes in one of these prop firm accounts. So this is playing out pretty good. I'm going to take the 45. If we get above $70 on the personal, look, we're actually trading in the personal account or in the live account. So that now it really ticks me off. So we were up like, I don't know, 80, 90 bucks on these last little trades here on the 5-minute. Like we took this and I think we made like 40, and then we took this and we made another 40. We're up like $72 or something. And it was in the stupid practice account. Cannot believe that crap. So now we would have been closer back up to our $200 on the day after this trade and how it's going. But instead, we're going to take $100. So we're green. We're going to end the day green if I close out now. Should I do it? Should I close it out now and be happy with a green day of $5? Or do we let this thing continue to ride? That is the question. I now have my mental stop. So I have a stop loss set up here at 439. There's no way I'm letting it touch that now. So now I have some conviction in my short position. It's waterfalling. It's starting to follow down. Now my out is going to be this trailing spaghetti right here, this short-term resistance right here that's starting to trail down. This is going to continue to ping off of this. This is going to be a hard out for me. I'm gonna let it get. We got this level right here, 360s. What's happening on NQ? NQ's consolidating. That might mean we need to get out of this trade. Take our money and run. All right, I'm gonna let this thing flush. I'm gonna take my money and run. Come on. Break 359. All right, so I like this. I like this move. I like this momentum that I've got here. On any other day, I'm going to let this kind of ride out, or if I had more time in the day, really. If this was like at 10:30, 11 o'clock after Euro close, I might just let this thing ride out. But now I'm at a point where this needs to continue making new lows. But if this 1-minute chart here, so on this 1-minute candle, because I'm trying to maintain a really tight stop and keep this account and pull a green day out of the hat. Green Day, that's a great band. What I want is the moment that this stops doing this massive downward move, I'm going to flip it. So the moment I get kind of a little reversal and this 1-minute candle comes back up and makes a new high based on the previous, or breaks above the previous candle high, I'm going to be out. So we got $170 on this trade, one contract. This is where I'm going to get out. So if this candle reverses and comes back up and breaks this previous candle high, that's going to be an out for me. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep riding this momentum down. Yeah, man. FX, let's do it tomorrow. Same thing. I'll be on in the mornings and then in the afternoons. But either way, by the end of this year, we're going to buy a house. We're all going to buy a house together. There it is. I'm out. $30 in profit for the day. So you got this breaker structure. 1 minute candle came up. I'm out. The goal is to have a green day. So we are we made $30 today. I'll take that. After that ridiculous practice account mistake. I mean, that was some amateur crap right there. I can't believe I did that. All right, so we've got here new low is going to be 348. We've still got about 40 minutes left in the session before I got to be in cash. $30. We have a green day happening today, so I can be happy with that. And it stopped doing what I wanted it to do. So you got this momentum. I took the money, had the nice scalp, and I'm going to let this thing play out and see what happens. And actually, this is going to create, now that we've got this little reversal, this is going to create a new little kind of band to see what's going on here. We'll draw that out and see if this thing breaks back through that line or if it starts to respect that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, NQ is reversing. So that was the other tell. So on this move here, that was the other tell on this. Let me get back out to the other screen so you guys can see my full screen. So that was the other tell here is on the NQ. So I bailed on that trade because NQ was sort of trying to do this reversal. And kind of come up here and curl up. So, like I said, NQ has been sort of leading the way over the last couple days with the Dow companies following after they make their sort of, purpose-filled move, and then they kind of follow suit with the market. But ES and YM have been kind of doing their thing, making the early move, making the early break, and then the Dow companies kind of follow suit after that. Like for instance, this morning, you had, this nice move up. So ES, this whole morning, NQ was free falling, right? But then in the same time frame, ES or YM, the Dow companies were making their move up, and they finally were, got with the program and started to come back down. So as long as I'm watching and have some pretty good divergence happening on both the spaghetti models, the 5 minute and the 1 minute, and I've got an actual direction on the 1 hour, I'm going to be watching, NQ, who's been moving the most lately, to kind of help me understand where most of the retail traders are. So you got AI trends and retail traders that are going off. And so I'm going to let that kind of help me base some decisions off on what is actually going to happen in the market. Right? So like, for instance, right now you've got this chop happening in NQ, but you can see what's happening. If you start looking at the spaghetti models, you've got a really tight convergence happening here around the 600 moving average on the 1 minute chart. And in that same thing, you still got some room here before on the 5 minute chart before you actually have some blue sky and what I would consider breaker structure. So you actually got to get up here above 850 in the NQs, probably above support here at 854 to 860. You probably need to push above that before you really do have another bull trend, and it's trying to. You've got this curl up. You're about to get another, you're not even going to get a buy indicator actually. If you look at this right here on NQ, this is actually curled up and not even crossed over. So if you stayed and you bought down here where this buy indicator is on my spaghetti model, if we bought here and let this thing ride all day long, this is still bullish. You still don't have a sell signal here, and it's actually looking like it's going to want to push and continue on. My man Wave, he's holding strong. There it is. I love it. I love it. I drew this little trend line down here on the 5-minute. So there's a new structure that's being formed, and we're gonna let this thing just be a little bit of a visual representation of what's going on the 5-minute. I'm gonna clear out these trades. So I got my move. That was the short I wanted. And then now we've got this new structure forming here. So I'm gonna let this play out for a little bit before I feel any kind of conviction to get back in the market. I like the $30. $30. We're up $30 today, and I'm gonna be happy with that. Especially after not being at the trade station for half the day. If this breaks down here below 350s, I might look for another short before end of day. Another little trade before the market closes. But we're getting into some danger territory as far as volume about to pump back in here. I do believe what did we say? Who do we say are speaking? We do have. Who do we have still? We still have. What do we say? Who's speaking after the bell? After the bell, we have at 4:30. We have crude. Fed Williams is speaking right now, or has probably finished by now. So you got API crude after the bell. We'll see what happens there. I don't think that's going to move anything too much. And then tomorrow at 8:30 is building permits. This is what I'm looking for. This building permits right here. This whole section. I mean, you got jobless claims, you got Philly Fed. Tomorrow, and you got crude. Holy crap, tomorrow is stacked. You have 4-week, 30-year mortgage rates, all the housing market stuff. Tomorrow is going to be a massive day. Tomorrow is going to be a massive day. Thursday the 18th. All right, so I'm going to be live then tomorrow at 8:30. I'm probably going to get in and start trading tomorrow before this Brazilian retail sales and before this 30-year rate comes out. So I'll be trading tomorrow live before 7 a.m. and I'll probably trade through 9:30 a.m. and then I'll cool off and come back in the afternoon. What am I doing here? I'm in the wrong date. Went back way too far. Thursday. All right, so Thursday is not that big of a deal. So here we go. Fed Bosic at 7:30. So same thing though. Same thing. I'm going to be trading here 7:38. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. I'm going to start trading here at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Yep, and then we're going to trade through all this volatility into Euro close, and I'll probably bail after Euro close at 11:30. That's probably what's going to happen. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day in the morning, so that's what I'm going to trade tomorrow. I'll be live again at 7 a.m. tomorrow. All right, there's the break down here on the 5-minute. I might take another short here. Sell. I'm going to take this trade. I'm going to take the short position. I'm in again short. Stop loss is way up here. So it's about a $250 total loss if it comes back up and meets these lines. I'm not going to let it actually play out that far. I'll probably get out of here if it breaks back up above 373, somewhere in this area. I'll probably bail on it. So I'll bail on it before that, but I think that we've still got some more downside move here. just one contract. Gonna let this thing short into the lows. Yeah, NQ is breaking back down. So you got NQ breaking back down. There's the sell indicator on the 1 minute chart for NQ. So NASDAQ companies are kind of trying to sell off into the close. They're pretty choppy right now, though. Pretty choppy. There's some volume coming in. All right. Back to looking at these charts. I'm just going to let this thing play out. I think we're going to get pump faked here a couple times. And then at 10 till, you're going to get the flush. So make it and break it trade here right now. End of day. This is probably the last trade I'll be in for the day. And this is going to determine, are we closing green or are we closing red today? There's no coming back from whatever we exit on this one. Is it going to be a green day? Is it going to be a red day? So on the 5 minute chart, I like the divergence that's happening. So you got the weakness built in. So that's where I'm feeling like, okay, I've got some conviction here. NQ is probably still following suit. Yep. NQ is still chopping around, trying to figure out what it wants to do. Looks like it's moving lower. And we have room down here to touch the lows, or on the 1 hour chart, if we switch over here on the 1 hour. So we have room to come down here 316. So if we follow this trend, we still have room to come down here and close somewhere around the 320s, possibly 336. Close out the day down here before tomorrow building permits come in. We probably will see a little bounce off of it, but I think we'll probably end up closing the U.S. market here in about 30 minutes down here. In this region, I'm pretty confident in this. I mean, we'll see. You never know. You just gotta trust the spaghetti, and then you got wave over here, like a baller calling this upward move, which is looking like it could still happen. So it's holding right here. It might do one of those little maneuvers where it consolidates and then just jets up in the last 10 minutes. As Josh at Trading Fraternity would say, that 10-minute rigged, right? You get that last push of volume that just squeeze everybody out. End of day squeeze. That's a lot of chop though, huh? I don't like this chop. I don't like this chop. I want to see it just pick a direction here. I'm still pretty confident in this short only because I've got these two breaks, but that could just be forming a new low if we come down here. We'll see. Usually what's going to happen, so when we're looking at the spaghetti models, right, usually what happens is, and the reason why I came up with this strategy is because it almost always consolidates into one of these dynamic ranges, and then that's when you get your next leg that just flushes, right? It usually never pushes through with much acceleration. And when it does, it's because there's been a news event, something's happened, or you just get a ton of volume that's been sandbagging us and you get a squeeze. So right now, this push is a break of structure. This is a point in time when you could see the continuation up through. But usually what's going to happen is you got this kind of consolidation band that's going to consolidate into one of these two dynamic resistance, and then you're going to see the flush back down. But this is looking a little squeezy. I might get out here. Might get out here. Wave's getting what he wanted. Wave's getting early, a little early present here. You still on this thing, Wave? Yeah, you are. Wave's still in on this thing. He's got it. He's holding. Still waiting for this to come through. I'll let this candle close out. We've got 5 seconds. See what happens on the continuing candle. See what happens here. We're going to get a massive wedge, aren't we? This is going to be one of those massive wedges that's going to form all the way into tomorrow at 8:30 when housing starts form. I'm out. That's it. I'm out. Last trade of the day, down 140. That is what it is. I'm not too upset by that. I took that risk. I felt like it was a good risk, and I'll let it be. All right, so let's. While I got a little bit of time, I'm gonna go through why. I'm gonna go through. Let's take a look, Wave. Let's take a look at today. This is a 1 minute chart. 1 minute. 1 minute chart. A lot of downside all day long. 12:30. Then you've got this low. This is what, 315. And so now you've got the new higher, like a higher high. Then you had this lower high or lower low. What did I just say? You had a higher low, and then you had a lower low. So this right here is confusing, but both of these are still above the low of the day. So that's why I believe Wave is in this trade. You've got this nice crossover happening. We're about to get another buy indicator. It's going to push up here and retest. My guess is that we're going to see a consolidation all the way through tomorrow morning. I don't think we're going to see anything big happen for the rest of the day. So I think that you're still sitting here below VWAP, sitting here below the 600. I think what you're going to end up having is a massive consolidation zone that's going to happen here on the 1 minute chart. Sort of wedge is kind of forming. It's going to get really tight in here. And then overnight, so I mean, this is end of day, so it's overnight, it's going to get real tight. And then sometime around 4 a.m., you'll see Euro push the market around, and then we're going to get the actual move tomorrow morning around 8:30 after building permits come out. We'll see, though. It's happening for you, Wave. It's going. It's going. 1 minute chart on YM. Where's NASDAQ? Is it pushing back up? Woo! Break of structure. Break of the 600. NASDAQ's the trade right now. This thing's going to rip. NASDAQ is about to freaking face rip everybody. Oh my gosh. If I didn't take all my risk for today, I would be in on this one. Jeez. NASDAQ's about to just rip everybody's freaking face off here. About to have this, just a massive squeeze. Oh my gosh. There it is. Come on. NASDAQ is going to squeeze all the way up here, isn't it? It's going to come up here and touch 890s. It's going to touch 600. Yep. I agree with you on that wave. On as far as the Elliott wave is concerned, I agree with you. Nasdaq is about to rip though. YM's making its move. I'm gonna sit this one out. I should have waited. Got in a little too early. Took the short, thinking that it was gonna break down, and it didn't. The real move was the end of day move up here. We'll see what happens at VWAP. If it gets real squeezy, and we still have 30 minutes. If it gets real squeezy here after VWAP, wave! Bro, it's happening. It's happening. There is the touch of the 600 on the 1 minute chart. Ladies and gentlemen, it happened. It happened. It just needed to stop everybody out on this move. It just didn't want to do it right here. It decided to mess with everybody and take everybody's money and then make the move. That's pretty funny. All right. Let's watch this thing to the end of the day. We still have, what, 15 minutes, 45 minutes? It's about 45 minutes till I have to be in cash position, and about 20 minutes to end of day, end of U.S. market. It's gonna push, man. If this goes past VWAP on the 1 minute, it's we've got on the 5 minute, you're hitting this resistance. So you got, not only do you have the 600 and the VWAP, but over here you also have the level, basically right here. So it's kind of trying to figure out just people taking profit on that move, and then it's gonna make its another move. I think it's gonna make another move up. If it makes another move up, where are we going? If it continues in this little squeezy pattern right here, where are we gonna go? NQ, how far is it going? Still ripping. God, look at that trade. That's the trade right there. Boom. Nothing I can do but sit and watch this one. I dug myself too much of a hole today. I'm 140 down. I'm going to let this one just ride out and watch everybody have fun. I know, Wave, man, you called that thing a little bit longer. You had it. You nailed it. Let me know when you're out. Let me know when you take profit. So there's the bounce off of VWAP. So it needs to push past here for end of day. I mean, it really needs to catch it. And in order to really catch the squeeze, it needs to just powerfully move past that. I might be able to get in here in a second. If it pulls back to one of these resistance bands, I might be able to take a short into end of day, but it needs to pull back or let this thing catch up before I'm confident getting in. Man, I can't believe I actually traded on that practice account. That still got me going under my skin that I had that set to the practice account still. I took those 2 trades on the practice account. I think that blew a little of my ego this afternoon. Messed with my brain. Nothing I can do but watch this. We're a little overextended for me to jump in. Let's see what's going on. I'm going to check some email real quick while we're waiting for this thing to play out. The good news is today is that in my produce business, we made a bunch of really solid deliveries today. Really solid deliveries. Stoked on how that company is growing. It was a big day. Big day for deliveries, and we're changing our model actually for our delivery days to our clients to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday instead of a once a week. I think that's going to just encourage more, which means that we're going to have to add some infrastructure, a little bit more ways to store and house our produce as we move it around the state a little bit more. I was stoked on that. It was a surprisingly good day. I think that hospitality industry in general helps really dictate where the market goes. It's a pretty forward-leading indicator, the hospitality industry. Yeah, I'm not going to short anymore today. Yeah, I took my last trade. I'm sticking to that. Got to stick to my rules on this TOPSTEP account. I don't want to do anything that's super high risk. On my live account, maybe I'll switch over to my live account real quick. Let me check. Where is that at? Pull that thing up on the different thing. Edge Pro X. Enter. We're up 300 in live today, so I'm going to take that. I'll just let that one be. Nah. If I was trading all day long, I might take something there, but I'll let the $314 in the live account, and that one hit my TP and closed itself out earlier today. I'm going to let that one go. What are you at? 462. 462 is waves. I'm gonna put a marker there so I remember that tomorrow, Wave. You gotta come back tomorrow. Let's put a marker up here. I'm gonna put a W up here for Wave at a W for Wave, a W for win at 462. 462. There it is. All right, Wave, you're on the chart. Let's see what you got. This is your take profit. It's 462 and a possible short. Oh, never mind. He's out. I'm gonna keep you up here, Wave. I'm gonna keep you out here. But you took your profit. You held strong, man. That's good. That was a good trade for you, man. I'm glad that thing flushed out. That was a solid move. I'm gonna keep the 462 marker up here though. We'll see if we touch that thing and make another break. Maybe that's the top. Maybe that's the upper end of this wedge that's forming. Maybe that becomes the upper end of this wedge. Meanwhile, reset this real quick. So Wave, check this out too on the 5 minute. So I've got you up here as the Elliott Wave as your take profit at this level, which I can see where you're talking about on the 5 minute. If you look at the spaghetti models on my strategy, you can see right here, this is a hard level. See this level right here at 435, this resistance has dead confluence with both the 600, the VWAP, and this proprietary level that I've got here. But you can see how it came up and it touched this 435 perfectly and then reverse back. It needs to break past this, in my opinion, for the strategy and for price action in general. It needs to clearly close above this before we can continue up, because we've got all of this space here that it would open itself up to a pretty good run if it crossed over this. That would be a good long opportunity, in my opinion. 435 is a place where I usually see the market consolidate. So it'll stay here and consolidate. So not 435, but this like lower long-term resistance band. This band right here, which almost always coincides clearly with a 1 minute 600. This is usually when you start to see a loss of momentum. Yeah, man, I feel you. But we always should have held, right? Like that's how I felt. If I would have stuck with you, I would have hit that. I would have hit that trend. I just would have been too far in a drawdown, and I didn't want to do that. But you got the trade though. You made profit on that thing, though, right? I still think that you got the opportunity. I think we might come up here and hit your W, bro. Three minutes till the 10-minute rigged, as Josh would say. You guys follow Josh, Trading Fraternity, Stock Market Live, the cult? Been watching that guy for years, man. Love him. He always has his pulse on what's going on in the economic world. That's all that counts, Wave. Take your money and run, bro. Put money in the account each day. Everything works out. Unfortunately, I made a withdrawal from my account for 140 and gave it to somebody else. I probably gave it to Wave. He took my money today. It's pushing. End of day push. Here we go. Minute and a half. Yeah, I'm with you on the pullback. I'm watching how it's respecting this little resistance here. You can see it kind of curving off and respecting it. And that's what's kind of creating this little wedge here, this consolidation zone. So it's going to consolidate here, and most likely it's just going to sit here and consolidate on YM all the way through the rest of the evening into Asian session. If we get a lot of volume all of a sudden just enter the market, I think that Wave is right. So if we see a lot of volume, I think that we might see a squeeze start that might continue into housing starts news tomorrow. The most likely scenario at this point in time is a consolidation that gets real tight all the way into tomorrow at Euro Open. That'd be the most likely scenario. It's just a lot of consolidating here around the 600 moving average. The more unlikely scenario that would require a lot of volume to just come into the market would be a big squeeze up to 550s. That would be the more unlikely scenario. But we've seen that happen time and time again in the last 30 days. That end of market just rally where it just squeezes everybody that's been sitting here trying to consolidate and rebalance their positions, and all of a sudden they get squeezed out and try to short cover. It would take a pretty strong volume move though to make that happen, and I don't think that we've got that right now. Although there it is. We're gonna hit your mark. Wave, it's happening. Wave. It's happening. Come on. 10 more points. 10 more points. 10 more points. 2 more points. You did it. I cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. There's the squeeze. It's happening. Holy cow. Wave, come back on the stream tomorrow, man. Please. Come back on here. We'll trade together tomorrow. That was solid. That was a solid call out right there. Wave called it at 462 based on the Elliott wave with a take profit here. I believe he said he got out a little early on that, which is probably the smart move before it completes. But that was it right there. He called that. Look at it. We hit the W wave right here on the 5 minute. Just nailed it. Is that right at 62, 69? We hit 470, 469. So that was I love it. Wave says he's short now. You still got an hour though. You still got an hour to trade. I can't get into anything right now. I'll get trapped. I only have 6 minutes before I got to be in cash with TOPSTEP Combine account. TOPSTEP, if you're listening, that is one suggestion. I will ride or die with you guys, but we need to fix the time that we have to be in cash position to 5 p.m. Eastern time. We've got to. There's so much that happens after the trading bell closes. We've got to move into that. That's the one suggestion. Everything else, trailing drawdown, I'm good. What I'd like to see is the extended hour of trading. Wave, I'm keeping you on this chart indefinitely. I'm gonna lock this little indicator in here as the wave call. Right here, man. Call that thing. You're gonna stay on this chart forever. That was epic. As a reminder to trust your strategy, right? Like for me, I didn't have the conviction following my patterns. I'm following my convictions. I'm following my spaghetti models and just dealing with that. Also managing risk. In Wave situation, he had a clear strategy, had a clear take profit, and just trusted the strategy even through this little drawdown, being confident that it was going to come up here and hit 462, and it nailed it right on the money. So impressive. All right. Anybody else here in a trading combine? Just me and Wave. I know Wave trades Apex. I'm in TOPSTEP. Anybody else here trading a combine account or a prop firm? Five minutes left in the market. I'm gonna stay on here till close, and I'm gonna bail right at 4 p.m. I've got to go get some hay and some other stuff for our cows, and do a little bit of farm chores before it gets dark out, because it's in Florida. It's been getting dark crazy early. It's been dark and cold, and it's been getting rainy and wet around 4 p.m. and then through the night it's been getting wet, and so I need to get some stuff done before 6 p.m. because it starts to get dark fast. Closing it out, and 5 minutes. Where is this thing gonna go? It's looking squeezy, looking real squeezy, all the way up to that trend line. What's NQ doing? No, MQ's falling. 5 minute fall, 5 minute free fall on NQ. Oh, I want to take this long so bad. I want to FOMO into this so bad and just ride it, but I'm not going to do it. Sticking to the plan. Keeping my money, keeping the loss. Gosh. Let's go. This is going to squeeze. This is going to squeeze. Next level is 500. Then a push through that to 550s. Look at this. I'm going to show you the 1 hour too. It's flawless. I mean, you could have just timed this perfectly. I wish I was at the charts when this touch happened. I wish I was down here and not on the road when these two moves happened. That would have been great. 9 a.m. I caught a little bit of this upside move this morning, and then I gave it back. Here before noon, I left and was gone through this whole downside reversal. I didn't get to catch this 1 p.m. bounce. I was on the road. Got back in here just shy of 2 p.m. and then caught this. I wish I would have caught this bounce, though. That would have been great. What's a 1 minute hot ES do? Yeah. Or the interesting point on ES right here. You might see a little stall out here at 773, 775 on ES. And just kind of and let this continue to waterfall into the evening on ES. Might trade ES tonight for Asian session, Hong Kong session. I might trade ES. This is looking like it might be a good setup for a trade on ES, but I usually don't trade ES. You normally should just trade NASDAQ and YM. YM's finding some resistance, or sorry, NASDAQ, and then YM is here. So let's see. Let's get back to the 5 minute. Squeeze to 500s and then pull back. Squeeze up here. As Josh would say, a greedy short. This would be a greedy short here, but that's high risk. We're pretty extended. We're looking like we're going to get a buy signal on the 5 minute chart here. In the close, we're going to get a buy signal. We've got pretty clear acceleration. Most of the mass is going up here, so the force is wanting us to go up. If you're trading, you'd be still looking for longs right now into a scalp at 500 with a profit target here in the 500s, or another take profit here at 550s. The 600 moving average on a 5 minute chart is basically gravity. On YM in particular, ES not so much, and NASDAQ, sometimes on NASDAQ, but on the YM, on the Dow companies, this 600 moving average has always been a gravity. It's been a gravity line. As it diverges away from the 600, you almost always see a weekly move, if not a daily, but a weekly move back to the 600 and a consolidation before a next move or a next divergence. "20 seconds. Market closes in 20 seconds. What's going to happen?" People rebalancing their accounts here, selling off before the bell closes. 5 seconds. That's it. Good day, gentlemen and ladies. Good day. I ended up down $140 for the day. Not super happy about it, but also pretty happy with how I managed that. That could have gotten out of control if I had taken a little bit more size on that, but I didn't. A lot of trades that I could have taken today, but I didn't. A lot of trades that I should have taken today, but I didn't. Trying to follow some of these rules so that it's more trackable with the people who are watching. So as I trade this TOPSTEP account, I'm trading it within my strategy parameters, but I'm not trading it to the same level of risk that I would trade in my personal account. I might over trade or trade a little more, take a little more of a scalping position in my other combine accounts. But when I'm live streaming, it makes more sense for me to take more calculated and accountable trades, so that when I'm on here, you can see proper risk management. Because if you're just learning to trade, or you're not sure what you're looking at here, you're just exploring futures, there's a lot that can go wrong really fast in a leveraged futures account. And so if you're not familiar with that, you can end up just blowing all of your accounts. And I've back tested maybe 30 strategies in futures over the last year, and none of them are effective the way that the people selling them say that they're effective. And so with that, and with the way that the market is being pushed around in this kind of economic uncertainty and going into an election year, there's just no real confidence in what is going to happen. The only way that we can do this is wait for the big moves, the market makers to push the market in a direction, and then retail traders will follow suit, and then we can just take a little bit of that on the way up and the way down, and stay positive. So that's what I'm going to try and show off in this account. And then hopefully by June, we'll be able to have enough money saved up to go make a long-term investment like a house. That's the plan. I will be on streaming tomorrow morning around 7 a.m. And I hope that you guys will all be there. Let's try and grow a little bit more for all of the 6 to 10 people that were watching. And for Wave, my man, I can't wait to see you tomorrow and trade with you. That was a fun little last hour we had together. And I think it'll be fun to see what pans out tomorrow. So come back. Let's do it again. All right. I will see you guys on the other side.